Alright everyone, Twitter has decided to deplatform Gavin and the Proud Boys, and I was thinking to myself, it looked coordinated. Much like the InfoWars stuff, it was coordinated. We now know that. Not only did Holt come out and allude to that with the Spotify deplatforming, which I don't believe, CNN now has come out and said, well, you know, he did break the rules on Twitter. Who do you think was behind reporting his material en masse on these other sites? Who could possibly have been behind it? CNN, a group that's ratings are plummeting and is a direct competitor of Alex Jones, trying to knock him off the site so its own streaming picks up steam? No, it couldn't be them. It had to have been somebody else. It was Gremlins or something. No, it was CNN. It was absolutely, they're basically taking credit for it in no uncertain terms. Don't fucking kid me. So now Gavin, the Proud Boys are gone. Again, we have this same odd pattern over and over with Milo, with Gavin, with Alex Jones, with Roger Stone, I believe, at some points, and a million other people. What is the uniting factor of all of the people who are being abused by these platforms, and usually they're not even given a reason for why they're being abused? Oh, that's right, they all stand against the establishment, but none of them are actually bigoted. You see, the claim is always there, well, this group is hateful, that person is like sexist or something, he's a homophobe. In every single case, an objective look at what they have said and actually physically done, beyond anything that you happen to associate them with, because that's literally, they're literally saying, well, the Proud Boys maintain associations with hate-filled people. Okay, that doesn't make them a hate group, though. That's not the claim that you're making. You're saying they maintain associations with people. Well, I talked to Richard Spencer on his podcast one. Does that make me guilty by extension of anything he does or believes in? No. I can sit there and have a conversation with somebody that I do not agree with. I think something's being lost in translation here. The thing is, all of these people, they are called despicable. They are called bigoted. But they never are. Like, you look at what Milo says, and I say this as someone who's not a fan of Milo Yiannopoulos. Ultimately, the things that they claim about him, well, he's an extremist. He's a potentially violent person. He's a total despotic bigot. No, he's not. Absolutely not. Look, why don't you look back through what he's actually said throughout time? Or when Sargon got kicked off of Twitter, why did he get kicked off? Apparently he sent gay pictures to actual Nazis in order to mock them. That got him kicked off the platform. He tried to appeal, and of course they're like, well, fuck you, so he can never use Twitter again. I think he's tried 2 or 3 times to make new accounts, and each time he ends up getting deplatformed because he's got a lynch mob that doesn't like him on these platforms. That's the way that it works, but you know, people who are actually bigots, they never get deplatformed. That's why the verified hate hashtag exists, to show there are people who are directly promoted by Twitter, who are literally bigots. They are totally filled with hate. We can prove it by their public tweets. But they're still verified. They're allowed on these platforms because of their political views. The only group of people so far that's really getting abused, it's not like they're really far out there LARPing so-called Nazis that are constantly talking about how abused they are. It's people who aren't bigoted. It's people who are simply against leftism. It's the creators block in many cases. It's even people in the skeptic community, oddly enough, people who, they don't have out their views. They're just saying, hey, you know, censorship is wrong. People should say what they want. I don't agree with you, but I will defend, you know, till the death your right to say it, sort of stuff. Those are the people getting attacked. You know why? Because all these NGOs, they need bigots to exist on these platforms to continue justifying their seat at the table, which is on behalf of and in partnership with the legacy media that needs those people as well in order to be able to write hit pieces about other people that aren't even related to them. Oh, well, you liked a video by this person. It's like there was a story a few days ago about a kid, I think it was Harvard he had applied to. And some Bernie Sanders-loving professor on the admissions committee apparently asked them why they were following Alex Jones on Twitter, and then they didn't get the slot, and they're now suing. They're saying, hey, this leftist on the admissions committee didn't like that I followed Alex Jones, didn't even care why I was actually following him, and then all of a sudden I wasn't admitted despite my 4.0 plus GPA and the million AP classes and all the extracurriculars. This is happening in a systemic manner. It is an attempt to mass deplatform, even from the real world, not just the internet, people who stand against censorship, who don't like the establishment, and who attack and are antagonistic towards the legacy media for its lies and pro-war propaganda. Those are who are being deplatformed. So Gavin, yeah, he's no longer allowed to use Twitter. Is he actually bigoted? No. He's come out, they were trying to, the reason why we know that this was coordinated by the legacy media is that a half a dozen groups immediately came out with the same exact sounding report about him somehow being connected to a rally the following day that he's not even planning to attend and has disavowed. He and his group of people have come out and said, no, we're not going to it. We don't like it. We denounce it because we think it's a shitty idea. And by the way, we're inclusive. We're not bigots. So even by defending themselves, that's used as evidence by the CNNs of the world that somehow he's a Nazi or something. It's despicable that they're getting away with this. The problem is a lot of people are so fixated in what is or is not legal for a big tech platform to do that they're not focusing on the ethical side of it, the philosophical side, the side that says, hey, the First Amendment's not just a bit of writing on a piece of paper. It's a spirit, an idea that is entrenched within the United States, needs to be defended. There are plenty of things you can do that you shouldn't do. There are people behind the scenes causing all of this to happen. And there are people as well, like maybe he who shall not be named from the other day that I mentioned. There are plenty of people who are, I think, they're afraid of being deplatformed, and so they're either remaining silent, not saying anything despite the fact that they should and would otherwise, or they're hoping that by coming out and attacking maybe InfoWars or Gavin and distancing themselves from it, that they'll be spared, that they won't actually get kicked off. Trust me, if you are not bigoted, you are more likely to be deplatformed than if you are. You're less likely to get deplatformed if you actually sit there shitposting about Himmler all day. You are less likely to get deplatformed from that than if you call out censorship and you deride the legacy media even though it clearly lies. And part of it is political. Part of it, as Gavin rightfully, I think, said, is because the midterms are coming. They don't want a repeat of 2016. The liberals want to be able to run roughshod over American democracy. That is part of it. That's why do you think that they're focusing at people at the top who don't even fulfill the criteria for being deplatformed? Because they aren't what the left is saying that they are, like the CNNs and stuff. The bigger part, though, is money related. NGOs and the corporate media sites want more money. They want fewer large competitors. They're not so worried about smaller users, even if they are actually extreme. But they're very, very worried about people, especially, it seems, those that focus on live content. Have you noticed that pattern? Have you noticed that a lot of these people do one of two things? They either conduct real-life journalism like a Milo or a Lauren Southern, or they live stream. How many standalone individuals have been deplatformed in this manner? Crickets. I'm waiting for an explanation. Yeah, I wonder why else Styx has chosen not to make live content. There's a pattern emerging that I think there are certain criteria that you have to fulfill to be a high-level target. You have to have a certain audience. It's indeterminate what that audience is. Probably like maybe 1 million fans cross-platform or something. They probably got people on a literal list of tens of thousands of users, and once people cross a certain threshold, then they attempt to destroy them. Live content or real-life activism, that's certainly a marker. Lack of actual bigotry is the big number 3. And number 4, at least somewhat linked with the alt media and or alt tech, or antagonistic towards existing tech and media. Those are the 4, it seems, criteria for being a high-level target for CNN and Vox and HuffPost. All these people, that they're tired of competing with YouTubers, it seems. They're tired of competing with people who, they make a fucking tweet and they get more airplay than Anderson Cooper. They're tired of this. They see it as their rightful place to make all the money and determine what reality other people see. That's really what this is all about. So I condemn this. It is wrongful. It's illegitimate. Twitter should know better. And they just got off telling everyone, well, we support freedom. We're not going to kick Alex Jones off because he didn't break our rules. But we're going to kick this other dude off for not breaking our rules. Because that's going to be our contribution. Basically, I guess the NGOs told him, hey, if you're going to pretend to stand on principle here so your stock prices rise, you're going to need to give us something else. Here's this other dude. Kick him off instead. I imagine that's probably what was told to him. I'm not even joking. I actually believe that I'm not being paranoid. Look, there's a pattern emerging quite clearly about who is getting attacked in this manner. And it has nothing to do with deplatforming hate, like what we were sold this censorship on a year ago. Oh, well, we're going to increase our moderation, change our TOS, we're going to develop sandboxing and shadow ban stuff. We're doing this to protect you from hate-filled, potentially violent and criminal individuals. Where's the criminality? Where's the violence? I'm simply not seeing it. I think there's a reason for that. Put 2 and 2 together, everyone. That's about all. Peace out.